Hi again. So, dealing with runes this time, aren't we? So, well, right. So, this segment will be on how to stitch the two pieces for the rune pouch that we cut earlier and prepared by cutting the fronds. So, because we want the hairy side, that is, say, the outer, to be on the outside of the pouch when it's finished, like so, we will stitch them together with the fleshy side facing outwards, because when it's been stitched, and we'll stitch along the edge with saddle stitching, then we need to turn the pouch inside out afterwards. Okay, so part of the preparation is then to get one's thread, and this is 50 gram weight linen thread, 3-strand, or as the description can be, 3 cords. Each strand is a cord. So when we measure out the thread, we lay it out roughly along the outline, like so. Then we double that, like so, and then we will leave an extra bit for the final tying together. So, having done that, using a good pair of surgical scissors, gives a clean cut, which is important for threading the needle. So now we'll take a piece of a cake of beeswax and drawing it, 3 times, 4 times or whatever, so that the thread gets a good coating. That's just about done it, and the beeswax starts to melt a bit, or certainly go soft in the sun. So that's good, because it's more of it gets into the fibre of the thread. So then we need to prepare the end to feed through the eye of the needle. So to do that, a good little trick is to run the thread between the needle and your thumb, which flattens the thread and should therefore be relatively easy to feed through as it is. And here we go. So now we'll anchor the needle to the thread. Doing that by feeding the tip of the needle through the fibres. Now, bearing in mind it's a 3 cord or strand thread, it's going to be 2 threads on one side and 1 on the other. That's okay. So you feed it through, and here it is. So then you just pull gently, feed it down a bit, because the beeswax, of course, now makes a sticky contact with the needle. Okay, so now we're here, and then pull, and then pull back, and we have a knot, like so, which will allow the run of the needle with thread attached through the holes we'll punch in the leather with ease, or greater ease. Now, because we are going to go through the fleshy side first, there is greater resistance initially in getting the thread through than if you start on the tanned furry side as it had been. Alright, so taking the other end of the thread, repeating the process. Okay. There we go. There's a commencement. Feed it through. Then shove the needle through the thread. Pull. So now that's anchored as well. So now we have our threads with dancing needles. Alright, so place it somewhere so it doesn't disappear on the floor. Now we'll need to go through the important business of making the holes for the needle. Okay, now we can use a tool which is like a horse riding spur or roundel, and mark the lines, but you know, this is going to be a hidden seam, so it matters not if you're a fraction off in terms of the spacing of the stitches, in my opinion. Okay, so because we are going to stitch these two pieces together, it's best if we then punch the hole through both sides. So we'll start here. Now, because we've got the fronds and of course the mouth to the pouch, we'll have the leather folded over. Since we have the fronds starting, say there, it's an idea to bring the stitch up to perhaps here. It's something that you can you know, play around with each time that you make a piece like this. So you'll commence just about certainly not onto the cut of the frond, but set back from that. So here we are, we'll start there. Now, this is a great awl which I've had for decades. It's got a great brass collet which will allow the removal and replacement of the awl. You can insert fatter or thinner awl blades to suit. And of course the collet means that it unscrews and the claw here expands to fit whatever you shove in it. So we'll just tighten that again. That's it. Yep, that's about right. So then, and the awl, if you can see it, it's like a dagger, really, in that it's ridged on both sides of the cutting edge. So it's a flattened diamond, so to speak, and that allows for the spreading of the puncture hole to take thread, needle and thread. So here we go. So we'll start there. Now, when you push the awl through to create the hole, you can bear in mind that it's thread that you are going to push through and join hole by hole. And so it's an idea to have the cutting edge, or the flat part of the awl, pointing at an angle away from the line you're going. In other words, you want it not to be the blade in parallel with the edge of the material, but rather say 15, 35 degrees thereabouts. You don't certainly want it at 90 degrees because that has the occurrence of there becoming a split, a tear in the leather when you put tension into that area, such as when you're feeling the bag and you know, there's a bit of pressure, then a 90-degree punched hole is a weak point. So here we go at about 30 degrees, and then it's a matter of just spacing them, say 2 mil apart, on. Making sure that the orientation is maintained. Yep. You know, the whole process doesn't take all that much time. Stitching it is the time-consuming part of this procedure when it comes down to it. But all in all, it's handcrafting, and so, you know, I derive pleasure out of what I do. I'm sure anyone who gets into using their hands to create, using any medium, experiences a sense of pleasure through their work. So there, the holes have been punched. As you can see, they come through, and pretty much a good line. So now it's a matter of engaging the needlework. So, starting, say, over here, feeding through the first hole, there, and the first hole on the black panel, there you go, and it feeds through. Then the second needle, or the other end of the thread, goes, of course, into the next hole, comes out there, and you pull them out. Now you want to have them roughly the same. Here we go. The loop will catch whatever it's in its path. So you have the two needles, and so the one on the bottom needs to be a bit longer, so that we have one longer than the other. And the reason for that is because you are going to loop back and forwards. Towards the end, you want to have pretty much an equidistance between needle and the last hole, in order to make a good to make sure that there's enough thread on one attached to one needle and the other needle. So now this is the commencement. Therefore, we need to double back, because we need to ensure that this becomes a knot. So we put the bottom back through. You can see it's now going to be doubled up. Pull back. So now this will have a double stitch on either side. So that's good reinforcement, given that it's the anchorage point for the open mouth of the pouch. So this is where there will be a greater amount of wear and stress on the pouch. The same, of course, goes for the other side when we get to that. So here we go. It's now nicely tinged, and we proceed, and we go through. And of course, the other needle comes through, goes back the other way. And now this is where, because it's suede, it becomes a little bit of a tease going on, because the hole's being partially filled by the first thread, and of course now it's the second thread that's come through here, so therefore it's a bit of a tight squeeze. Alright, making sure that we don't trap or anything else that shouldn't be there. Okay, so good double-stranded side per side. Okay, now we can commence the run of the stitch. Going out that way, and of course, having cut the fronds first as part of the demonstration, they now get in the way frequently. So perhaps, you might find it a better idea to leave the cutting of the fronds till after you've stitched the bag together. Now, I do that at times, but I'm not dogmatic about it, so whatever is inspirational at the time is what happens. It's not about having stress, of your own making when you go about this type of thing, because if you decide that, well, it's only going to be done step by step in a given way, and you step out of that construct, then you can provide yourself with self-induced health problems. Stress leads to all manner of health issues. So here we go. As you can see, I keep the thread that's gone through in this manner over my forefinger, which is helping the thumb, holding the two pieces together, and then the other fingers sort of get in there as well. That just ensures that the thread is out of the way, really, and is stretched at the hole to allow an easy passage for the needle on the return journey. That's of course I can find there we go, the other side. Now at the completion of each stitch, put a bit of tension there, pull on both ends, because you want a tight fit. And here we go, goes through to here. Once again, I'm applying tension using these two fingers on this strand, exposing the hole a bit better as I'm feeding through. There it comes. Yes, keep anything that you don't want caught up in the thread out of harm's way. Saves a bit of bother. So a bit of tension, and back again. And so by now you can see that you've got a good line of stitch happening. Okay, cutting back through, and you take your mind off the job just for a millisecond, and the thread wants to do its own thing. So you could even refer to this as threading the serpent. Okay. So here you go, you see, because I did take my mind off the job there for a second. I ended up with the pouch wanting to attach other bits to itself. Okay. So you can get the picture here. I'll show you the end process shortly.